think we could transition over to the north side of town to the Chicago Cubs, who have a regular season game coming up. I believe it's March 18th. Today is the 5th, so we're less than 2 weeks away. Uh, Kind of amazing. It's a little bit frustrating the more I think about it. We learned about this about a year ago that they're going to be playing the 2 game series in Tokyo um, early before the actual season starts. It kind of puts the Cubs and the Dodgers, for that matter, in a bind. In that, if anyone's a little bit injured or tweak something early in spring training, they're kind of not going to be present on that for that Tokyo trip, and that's already happening with the Cubs. It's determined at least that Nico Horner uh, will be sounds like he will be available for the regular opening day, but he's not going to make the trip to Tokyo. And there was some question then about now third base starter Matt Shaw with an oblique strain, if he was going to be able to even make the trip. And I'm not sure that's been determined yet, even though he's back and healthy and has been playing. He had 2 hits the other day, 16-run game. Um, so they could most likely be missing the whole left side of their infield for the first 2 games of the year, just because they happen to be in Tokyo 2 weeks earlier than everybody else. It's kind of sucks. It got really nerve wracking when Pete Crow Armstrong was pulled from a game 2 days ago before the game started with a hamstring tightness. And it's like, if we're missing our fucking center fielder and the whole left side of our infield, like what are we doing here? He was fine. He clearly was fine because he came back the next day and had a little league home run where I think they're playing the Rockies, just threw the ball all over the place on his double, and he ended up scoring. So clearly his hamstring is no longer an issue. So that may be a bullet dodge, but we might see a really strange roster for the Cubs. And I haven't paid too much attention to the Dodgers roster. They've got the whole fucking world playing for them, so I'm not too worried about their depth. But it's just an unfortunate reality with doing these what should be exhibition games in Tokyo. You're not going to see the full roster, and it's like the Cubs kind of have to punt on those games. So those guys can get their rest. They're not sitting on a 13-hour flight to Tokyo. They're not missing days of treatment or rehab or whatever they would normally be doing instead of sitting on a plane.
Right.
Um, so it's just the fact. I mean, it's marketing. Makes perfect sense to have the Cubs versus Dodgers in Tokyo, as they have so many Japanese stars on their rosters. It's going to be great for Japan and for to market the game in that part of the world. But it's just, the reality is it's really unfortunate for the Cubs. And do they come back 0-2? I wouldn't be surprised. They're playing the world champs anyway, so that was probably going to be likely. But they're not even go there with their full complement of players. So what can you do? I guess I'll be excited once those games begin. I haven't looked up what the time difference is. I do remember years ago getting up early to see games in Korea or Japan before. I have a feeling it's going to be like 4 or 5 in the morning. You have to get up to watch the Cubs. I'm also in the Eastern time zone now, so that makes it better or worse. I don't know. We'll find out. But it's just going to be a strange start to the season. They come back. They come back. They put it in mid March, so they have at least 10 days. Maybe it's not quite 10 days where they can recover, get rid of the jet lag, and then they go back to spring training games, which is even stranger, and then eventually start the regular season on the 28th. So it's going to be a herky-jerky, odd start to the season. I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised if the Cubs come back in the 0-2 hole to start the season due to many circumstances. So what can you do?
Word Hole Media.